So we've learned that not everything's hunky-dory, and that you could be subject to evil. Don't feed your enemy, give him drink for he is thirsty, heap burning coals on his head, continue to bless him even when he curses you. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except for God. So when you have evil done to you, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Okay, well, how is that carried out? Through governing authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Be subject. It's submit. It's hupatzo for the Greek word. To submit to the orders or directives of someone, to obey, to submit to, obedience, submission. What are we submitting to here? That's the question. It's not just a general submission in all things, right? Because, Nazis come to your house and say, "Where are the Jews? Give up your Jews."
Right.
Right. So do we do that? Because Romans 13:1, sorry, Jews,
Right.
in the back of the truck. Well, no, it's the priority of the state to be the vengeful agent. And
Mm-hmm.
so he goes on, and this is the same word, submit, that wives do to their husband. But it's not just, well, my husband wants to have an orgy, and so I should submit, right?
Right.
Well, no, it's always qualified by coming under the authority of Christ first,
Yep.
and then if allowance within that what is being asked of you, that's what you do. So submit to them in what? In their role in carrying out God's vengeance in a way of justice. That's what's being talked about when submitting to them. It's not becoming Batman or the Punisher and going out and murdering people because they stole your cow. They broke the window of your house. I don't know if the Romans had windows. They probably had windows back then. How do I seek grievance for that? How do I love people? Well, I go and I seek the governing authorities. I submit to them in their role of carrying out God's vengeance in a way of justice. So don't seek vengeance. Go to the governing authorities. That's what Paul is talking about here. To merit to the claims of justice, to even corrupt governments attempt to claim to do this. There's an idea that even the most dictatorial dictator still needs the will of the people for him to stay in power, because there's a lot more of them than there is of him and his people. Yeah. So he still needs that. And so there's the Bible verse about the woman going to the corrupt judge and just continuing going after him and saying, give me justice. And finally he relents. He's like, fine, here, I'll give you justice. Still a corrupt judge.
Yeah.
Still a corrupt judge.
Yeah.
So governing authorities won't go after you if you don't seek out vengeance. Be of good conduct in verse 3. But to those who do illegal things and those who seek out vengeance on their own, that's who should fear the governing authorities. That's their proper way. Verse 4, the governing authorities who exhibit proper power are supposed to be there to mete out justice. This is the way that God has propped up governments, even the bad ones. Verse 6-7, and this is the reason you pay taxes, is to get the benefit of the governing authorities to do this for you. It's not just a general, well, the government says I owe 100% of my labor to them, so Romans 13, right? Just pay it. No, this is the reason why you pay taxes, so they could be the vengeful agent of God instituted, so that way you aren't, eye for an eye. No, you're submitting to them. They go out, they arrest the person. They're a neutral party. They find the person guilty, that they must pay you double the amount, whatever the means of justice is.
Right.
And even if it doesn't happen, even if in a corrupt system, we're not to go out and be the agent of vengeance.
Yeah.
So if you're taxed for that service, pay it. If you legally hire someone like a lawyer, pay them for getting you vengeance. Be nice, show respect and honor for those that do the job. And then verse 8-14 and all of chapter 14 is, again, continuing how a Christian should act in society, the church, and with those around him. So if Romans 13 is about how Christians should just bend the knee to whatever government agency, that seems a really weird place, because Paul is essentially sandwiching that between conduct and conduct.
Yep.
Okay, so just submit in everything, and that's how God's vengeance. Well, No, it connects to that end of chapter 12. It's
Right.
who carries out that vengeance when you're wronged. Go seek them, submit to their authority. That's where Romans 13 fits in.
Yep.
That's the narrative. Because it seems like a weird thing for Paul to just be like, oh, hold on a second. I know I was telling you to be nice to people. Let me tell you how to submit to the government when even they're bad. When Nero's banging down our door, just,
Right.
do whatever, kill the soldiers that want to take you into the Colosseum. That's fine, right? No, just go with them. There's no need to run. There's no need to hide. They've outlawed Christianity. Just go with them.
Right.
No, that's what Romans 13 is. That's the submission. That's the reason to pay taxes. It's for your justice. It's for you not to fall out of line and take over justice. God's the one that merits out justice. And if the government doesn't do it, then you have to realize that justice isn't served on this side of heaven. Justice is ultimately served at the feet of God.
Right.
And so that's
that's so important.